What's going on? I'm Joe, CEO of Level Car Connection, aka Level Cars. We're one of the biggest brokerages in the nation, still growing. About to sit down with Supercar Connection, meant to be, and talk some Porsches, McLarens, and everything else, man.
This is the Supercar Connection podcast, bringing you behind-the-scenes conversations from across the industry. If you love supercars, you're in the right place. So let's hit it.
We're here at Level Cars with Joe. You want to talk a little bit more about what Level Cars is and what exactly you guys do here?
Yeah, we're a full-service auto brokerage, one of the biggest ones in the country, and still growing. And we do, I don't like to say we specialize. We do a lot of ultra luxury and exotic, but we also do your everyday, Toyotas, Jeeps, and all the regular cars. We don't really post about it too much, which is, I don't know, it could be a good thing and a bad thing, because people will call me like, "Hey, do you still do regular cars?" Or but yeah, I mean, we started upstairs in a little 200 square foot office, and then we got lucky with this space, and then they were doing escape rooms next door, and then COVID hit.
Oh,
and
that sucks.
You can't lock people in an escape room.
Escape rooms are pretty lit.
We ended up, it's like a dream come true having the whole first floor on the boulevard. And yeah, man, we do. We have big corporate accounts where we do, a rent-a-car company will call us and say, "Hey, we need 25 Kia Fortes. We need you to be $500 below invoice." And so the challenge is to find a great deal like that, and then still be able to make a little bit of money in there. And so, and then over time, I remember when I first sold my $100,000 car, $200,000 car, and just, when we just first started, I never imagined, playing around with cars like this, and, taking calls on hypercars, signing NDAs for certain people that you can't even talk about,
It's amazing.
But the way I built the business is just do business the right way and always help people. And, sometimes you have to work for free and help people out, and they'll never forget what you've done for them. And so,
and that's what everyone with successful businesses, that's like, they all say that.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, everyone says that.
Long-term mindset. Don't do things in the short term just for a short-term benefit. Think about the long-term referral. And
100%.
So you'll still source something in the $50,000, $60,000 range?
Yeah, absolutely. All day. I mean, this morning we had a bunch of conversations.
Break it down for them.
What are we selling today? We did M340.
It might be in the market right now for a car.
Yeah. Someone needed a Lexus. When you get someone call you for a ES hybrid black on black, it's an Uber car. I need it ASAP. It's really hard to find. Dude, I swear
with an 818 area code,
you can find a nice Ultimate Roadster much easier than you could find a black on black hybrid ES 300 right now.
There's no
it's crazy.
Uber Black, baby.
They're great cars in general. And on top of that, everyone needs it for Uber Black, and that's like the cheapest car I believe you can find for a hybrid. Cheapest. Great on gas. So it's crazy. Like throughout the day, you're talking about you're talking to all these different types of people where you have to be like a chameleon. You have to learn how to hold a conversation with the TikTok kid that's like filming everything. You have to put on this thing, and then you're talking to the mobster guy who's like,
right,
"Hey, I need a Phantom."
Right, 100%.
So
yeah.
How do you level with all these people?
I found an ES in Salt Lake City.
Yeah,
we're getting it here.
That's a skill set that most people don't understand. That's like honestly one of the things that will make or break someone being successful in business. Chameleon is probably the best word for it. For me, chameleon's a little bit like, I feel like when people say the word chameleon, it's kind of not like a deceitful type thing, but it's more so like you have to be able to adapt to every personality. Yes. And each business, depending on the way your clientele is, the scale of the personality is different. Because like you said, you not specialize in, but your bread and butter, your business is the ultra luxury type vehicles. Yeah. Obviously that brings a specific client. Then you go down the price point a little bit, that brings a different type of client. You can go even down further besides that, it brings a different type of client.
Yeah.
So how do you gauge the type of person?
Yeah. So just to go back, chameleon, not in a way where you're trying to like deceive people. It's just being able to adapt and like almost to a point where it's like survival mode, right? You gotta, and one thing that we try not to do is like, and everyone I train and mentor is like, I say, hey, don't try to like BS people or try to sell them on something that they don't want. Like the most important thing is just like, it's not, when you're in this type of business and you hear these cars, you know, like a Lamborghini, you know, when you're trying to sell a Lamborghini, that's a pretty big deal. And don't try to BS someone, right? Just stick with them no matter how, you know, some clients, we've had requests like it has to be white on black, but the stitching has to be a certain color on a Cullinan, right? Stuck with it. It took 2 months. We got a dealer here to call corporate. And right around Christmas time, there was a car out in Washington where it was a Cullinan with white on black interior with the white stitching. And they said, hey, we're going to give this dealership, corporate said we're going to give this dealership 3 days to sell that car because they had a lead on it. If not, then you guys can have it. So, you know, and that client, it was one of my guys, never gave up. That client is a client for life, right? It's just like, hey, come over to my house. Let's have some coffee. Now it turned into like, he's a friend now, you know,
right.
Just calls and picks your brain. They'll call you, you know, be on the phone for 30 minutes about a car that they're buying already. You know, they have that Porsche relationship from 20 something years ago. They have dinner with the GM, but they're just like, hey, Joe, I just need your opinion on this, right?
Right.
So you're not making any money in that transaction. Let me just stay on the phone and just help them out as best as I can, knowing that that's eventually, you know, they're always going to remember you when it comes up to, hey, my housekeeper needs a Chevy Equinox, right? It's not a big deal, right? But it's those type of things where it's like now you become a go-to person to someone. And just recommend. I always say, don't sell someone, just recommend. That's the unique part about this business, because if you're working at a Mercedes dealership and someone comes in and, hey, why should I choose this over the BMW 5 Series? Like, what makes the E-Class better when the leases on the 5 Series are that much, you know, cheaper? And so you're like, at that point, you got to try to BS something, right? Versus us, no problem. Hey, like, look, the Audi leases are great right now. If you want a mid-size luxury sedan, we can't, you know, you can't afford an E-Class because it's $800 a month. Let's get you an A6 for $600, you know? Some people are like, just open, what's the best car I can get for my money, you know? Mm-hmm. Some people are very specific in what they want. And then some people are they just want the most bang for their buck. So.
Because you're ultimately guiding the person in a sense.
Yes.
Because that's the word, is guiding, and at least for me, because it's like they, at least in your specific niche, or not niche, but more so the broker side of things, they have an idea what they want. Yeah. It's how to source it and how to exactly guide them in that little fine-tuned direction.
Yep.
Versus selling them on something, or being a salesperson more so type, being like, I need to convince this person that my product is the best, versus you were like, okay, this is what you want. I now know what you want. Let me kind of see how I can guide you in that direction. Or we might have to make a little adjustment here, a little adjustment there.
Yeah. And it's kind of like counterintuitive. So like you get a call from a guy who's in a Bentley lease. He wants to get out earlier. And then the specific car that he wants, it's not necessarily the best time for him to get into that other car. And so sometimes they're taken aback a little bit, like, hey, just wait a little bit. Because usually, like, if you call a dealership, hey, just come on in. You know,
of course.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, and the
buyout's not that much. Yeah, we'll get you.
It's not that bad.
You don't blame the salesperson, because sometimes you don't even know how long they're They're always bouncing around. So they're just trying to make a sale, you know, and they got to compete against other salespeople, and they have to make a living, and they don't have, it's like you're at a Bentley dealer. How many Bentleys can you sell that month? Versus like, hey, if I did, 12 BMWs this month, I'm okay, so right. It's not a lot of people know. And we'll get calls sometimes like, hey, like, where's my car coming from? Does it have warranty? And I'm like, you're still getting from a franchise dealership.
Yeah.
It's still, before they would just drop off cars. Now everything's a little bit more strict because of certain things that happen in the industry. So like there'll be a dealer representative. If we're doing delivery here, there'll be a dealer rep. They'll actually sign the paperwork here. Or if it's going to the house, you'll actually be face to face with an actual dealer rep. But you don't have to go and spend a whole week negotiating and then
spend 20 hours,
wait for 6 hours on a Sunday, just
what a
one
beating.
phone call can just boom, do all that for you.
Make everything easy.
And
so what percent of your stuff is new cars compared to used?
Shit, probably 95% of it is
new.
95% I would say is new. Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
On the regular cars, it's people, as much as PJ doesn't like lease, people actually lease.
I definitely know. I know people lease.
Yeah.
If you do your math correctly, like lease makes sense in certain situations. Just to give you, I had a guy. It's crazy. Like I had been doing this for 5-6 years, and this guy calls me and he says he wants an S-Class with 22,000 miles a year on a lease. And I said, I've never heard anything over, like once you go above 18,000 miles a year, the residual drops significantly. And so it just doesn't make sense. You're better off, you're going to pay off most of the car. You're better off purchasing it. And so he says, hey, and I'm like, I don't think you could do that. He said, yes, you can. He said, my current S-Class is at least 22,000 miles. Just call the dealership and they'll tell you, just find me the best price. So I'm talking to one of my guys, and this guy's like an OG in the business. He's been doing Mercedes for 30 years. So I call him and he's like, no, there's no such thing. And we get on a three-way. Long story short, he says, talk to finance. So there are these like custom leases that you can do. And then they do the math. They do the lease at 19,999 miles, because once you go over 20,000 miles, then it's a huge thing. Long story short, the way this guy did his math, so he owns all these medical businesses all over SoCal, from here to Ontario, all over the place. And he drives a lot. And at this point, buying a car for him is like a whole science. Like he wanted the S-Class, but he wanted the smallest possible rims because it's more tire and it's a smoother drive. He doesn't care about looks or anything else. So
what a guy.
Yeah, he comes in and we sit down, start breaking it down, and he says, look, if I buy the car for $120,000, let's say after 3 years, whatever's the residual, it's going to be worth this much. And then if I do a lease with this many miles, it was like a few $1,000s at the end of the day. But lease made more sense on paper. So he's like, it's that few $1,000s. These guys are like, he's a numbers guy.
Right.
So, he could have, people are like, oh, but it's going to depreciate this much. But guess what? If you purchase it, you're going to pay tax on $120,000. Even if we get you a $20,000 discount, you're still going to pay tax, and then it's still going to lose value. So, it just depends on the person. Some people are like, buy cars and hold 10 years, just do a purchase from the beginning. It doesn't make sense. You're going to do a lease and then, okay, my goal is ultimately for the next 3 years, I want the cheapest possible payment. Let me do a lease to buy. 99% of leases are lease to buy now. You always have the option to buy. Mm-hmm. Depending where you're at in life, a lot of people will just, in 3 years, it's natural, 3-4 years, you want a newer car,
or you buy your Volvo we did.
It's a disease. I'll tell you right now.
No, the definitely
disease is a fucking disease.
The thing that we didn't really talk much with PJ about, and I don't think he covers too much, and I don't know if it's understood or just the type of person that he's like talking about, because like his ideal clientele is like me, right? The guy that like just wants to drive cool cars and for as little as possible, and wants to like drive a bunch of different cars. So maybe I get a car for 8 months, then a year.
Yeah.
What you got to realize is that like that strategy where you can drive a bunch of cool cars for the least amount of money is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because you're sourcing a car every 6 months to a year. You're having to sell the car on Facebook Marketplace every 6 months because you have to sell it private in order to not like lose money in the ways that he talks about. And then you've got to usually buy private to, negotiate decently. Because today, like I've tried to throw offers out at dealers and they just they do not care. It seems like they're like, no, this is the price. Like, really? There's nothing? Nope. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in the market. If you change your mind, let me know. And then you just don't hear from them. They're like, nope, this is the price. So I don't know if you've got tricks to that.
Yeah. So like the cars that we want though, that's the thing. It's like they're high demand, right? Like if you find a nice unit, the chances are someone else is like looking at that car, And so one thing that you can, I guess, argue is his business model, the way used car prices fell off a cliff last year or so, I don't know how you would you bought it at the peak and then you were going to try to, it wouldn't work. 100% it wouldn't work. I know dealerships that went out of business when they bought it well below MMR and now they're stuck. They don't know what to do with these cars.
See people right now, they seem stuck with cars.
Yeah.
Some of them, because things have certain cars have fallen.
I think we're at that worst point right now, to be honest with you. Again, me not knowing a lot about this specific side of the game, I feel like in terms of being a dealership right now, it's make it or break it time right now.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of stuff that you'll call them and they'll just they won't even move on the price at all because they're already at a loss. And it sounds like it's some bullshit that the dealer is giving you, but if they did buy it at the peak, they're already at a loss. They're willing to take a loss, but it gets to a certain point, they're only willing to lose so much. So that's the other thing, what makes it harder to negotiate now. And so, I mean, you know, there's certain tricks in the book. You can try to call with multiple different people, try to, you know, lowball them, and then they're like, okay, all these people are offering, you know, but at the end of the day, there's only so much that the dealership is willing to lose. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I tried that too, and one dealer was like, "Hey, I can't submit your offer unless you give me a credit card, because if we accept your offer, we're gonna run it for $3,000 deposit."
That's exactly. He calls me. He said that. I literally was like, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
I've never heard that one before. I've heard like, okay, we, you know, you got a deal. Let's put a deposit on it so we can hold the car for you.
Exactly.
That's what I said. I was like, I gotta give you my credit card just to make an offer. He's like, yeah, I can't take it to my managers unless you're willing to put a deposit on it if we accept your offer on the spot.
These guys are smoking.
Because they don't want to, they don't want to call back and be like, yeah, we can do, you know, 73. And then we go, okay, thanks, let me think it over. And then I call the dealer with the spec that I actually want. And they go, hey, I'm getting 73 from these guys. Can you match it? Like, they're like, no, if we agree to your offer, you're in it.
Times are getting tough.
Times are getting fucking tough, man.
Well, guess what? I said I can't do it. And then they called me for the rest of the week. And it is what it is.
They still called you though. Like
they still called me. Yeah. They're still like, you trying to put in that offer? I'm like, not really. Can you do it? Can you do the number? You know my number. Can you tell me?
If they're calling you back, they're playing their hand. They know that they want you to sell the fucking car to you, but yet for whatever reason they're like, oh no, we still need the credit card. At that point, I feel like they're just trying to see if they'll scam you.
How about Universal Mitsubishi? You know anybody over there?
Hey,
I don't do
Universal groups. We like. I like
So,
the Nissan people over there. I'm very fans of the Nissan people. Over there.
I like to say I do all makes and models, but Mitsubishi is one of the.
It's not a
One of the few that we know.
surprisingly.
done one in like.
There's limits. There's limits.
Surprisingly enough, it's not a Mitsubishi that they have that I'm interested in.
No, by no means.
What is it?
They have a 2016 V8 Vantage S, no GTS, that I like a lot.
Sounds like a PJ car, man.
It is a PJ car, 100%.
It really is.
It's a PJ car. It's a Gavin car. You know, I don't got to like Joe. I can't go grab a 720 right now.
It's coming up.
So I know. No, trust me, I'm chilling, but I'm trying to make with what I got. And what I got right now is Vantage money. So and it's a beautiful car.
We're, you know, we act like this, but Vantage, you know, most people anywhere in the world that you go, that's a dream car for a lot of people.
Trust me, it's a mind blowing concept, but it's like I was talking about earlier, like I joke about like the new wanting a new car, like the thing we have is like it's a disease because like we literally will get a new car and then like 2-3 months later I'm like, what else is going on here? Like I like to just scope the market type thing. It's a male disease that we
that's the whole point.
It translates to more than just cars.
I'm trying to experience everything I can on the way up trying to
that's
all sorts of cars, you know.
That's a great way to put it.
A good, great sounding, naturally aspirated V8. It's one of the most beautiful cars ever created. Just such a clean, simple, sleek design. I mean, it's so widely considered such a beautiful design. Every time I see one on the road, still, it's like it takes me back. So when I started looking at cars, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at a certain price band, I'm like, oh shoot, this is where the Vantages are. And I'm like, maybe I just get one of these for a few months. This would be fun.
And if you like, you know, if you're a car guy, you like driving cars, some of this stuff is like, what the comparison I always make from the 720 to this is that I get to enjoy this in a different way that I didn't with the 720. You know, 1,000 horsepower, insane, shooting flames everywhere. You know, just it was like a spaceship. But with this is like I go and push it in the canyons. I took it to the racetrack. I had a great time where it's like with the 720, it was always like, hey, don't die. You're in the canyons, like don't die. You know, like,
did it ever die in the canyons?
No. I meant like, don't kill yourself. Like, that's what I meant. Because it's a lot of car. It's a lot of car.
It's a lot of car for sure.
I have a friend who's got, I don't know how much track time, and he has SF90 Spider. Anything you can think of, he's been to the Nürburgring, like driven there. And he's just like, he said the 720 is the only car that I don't let anyone borrow because it's a lot of car. If you don't know what you're doing, there's a video of Lando Norris. I don't know if you've seen that. He's they're doing a lap with the passenger and he spins out in the 720. So it's like, you know, if a professional driver, it's a lot to handle for a professional driver, you know? So, I mean, if you don't do anything stupid, it's fine. But it's like sometimes we just want to push it to a certain level where, you know, we had a track day where two 720s got totaled in the same day. You know, like we were at Malibu Autobahn and then went to the track, and then two guys totaled their 720s.
Like that.
Versus this, it's like the point I'm trying to make is like with Aston Martin, you get to actually enjoy it, you know, like I don't.
This being
mind.
the GT3.
Yeah, when you say this, you're talking about this rust bucket behind you, the green.
No. Even this,
the yellow one.
even this is more of a bucket than
If you're only listening, we're sitting in front of a GT3.
Yeah.
And an Artura.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone might just be on Spotify on their way to work this morning.
Yeah, the Artura versus the 720. The Artura, because like for certain people, it's like, okay, the Artura is a downgrade, you know, which I'll show you guys a video of. You know where they call Mexico, up in Angeles Crest?
Yes.
So we're going up the canyons, and I'm behind a 720 Spider. It's my first time in the canyons with the Artura, and I'm like right behind this guy the whole way. We get up there, and I say, "Hey, can we run it? You know, I just want to see how close. I know you're gonna smoke me. Let's just run it. You know." He's got a stock 720, and someone made a comment, "Hey, the Artura feels almost as fast as a stock 720," and I said, okay, let's just try to run it. And so I finally convinced him, and some of it might be the driver as well, but you know, to a certain point, I get the jump on him. And so he's like half a car behind me. And so we're at 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. And I kept him there the whole way. And so you would say, okay, electric, you know, you got the jump on him.
Initial jump.
But even if you're a terrible driver, you're just stepping on a 720. Not a lot of cars can keep up with the 720. You know, like it gets to a certain point where it just gets faster as it goes.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's stupid fast. So you know, it's not a slow car. You know, the Artura is not a slow car, but it's like you get the handling is a lot more refined now, and yeah. So as a car guy, now it's like going from the Artura to the GT3. You get in there initially, you're like, okay, this is not, you know, it feels kind of slow, you know, even though you don't have the turbo lag, it's still
it is kind of slow.
It's still kind of slow.
It's that flat out. It's that flat out speed. It's just different.
Yeah, and so it's all relative. You know?
It's
what's slow and
everything's relative.
It sounds insane though.
I got a full system, so the headers made it feel a little bit faster now.
Because you were once a cultured man. You were once a 720, you know, enthusiast, and now you've kind of switched to.
I'm still. So, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
This excites me. The Artura excites me about the 750. I ultimately might go back to it. Initially, I was very disappointed. Why is the car like you guys could have done? You know, a better job. Like it looks almost identical to the 720. But from what I'm hearing, I haven't driven the car myself. Number one fact that the Senna seats, now you can get 7 Senna seats in a 750. That's cool. I hear it's a lot closer in power to a 765, which pisses off a lot of 765 owners.
They say literally that they took the 720 and the 765, combined a lot of the best parts of both cars to make the perfect car, is what they said.
Yeah. So,
but we'll see.
Yeah. McLaren manager told me the handling reminds him a lot of the Artura now. It's, you know, and so I'm still a big fan. I don't, you know, we talk about it all the time. The feeling that you get in the 720 is unlike anything else. If someone told me you would pick that car over a Aventador, I would say you're out of your mind. Back then, you know, when you're growing up, I feel like everyone's a Lamborghini fan.
It's a presence.
Everyone wants them, you know.
Yeah, you're looking at
wanted a Murcielago, and then everyone wanted a Aventador. But yeah, man, we went out to the desert where we had a whole day of shooting a Pista, an SV. I drove my 720 out there, and we were mostly driving the Pista and the SV. We got some really cool content. And by the end of the day, I was like, man, I can't wait to get back in my 720 and drive home, you know? I'm always going to be a fan. Once you understand what McLaren is, as, you know, it's just a fucking machine, you know? Like, yes, they have a lot of issues. Maybe that's part of the reason why they push it to, you know, they push the envelope so much, where maybe that's why they have a lot of issues, or maybe it's just all British cars, man. I don't know.
It's all British.
It's definitely all British cars.
They haven't figured something out. I don't know what it is, but they haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I love I love the English people. I got engaged in London. I love London. I didn't want to come back, but
Amazing.
just with cars,
That's it. It's a widespread thing.
Reliability is
not
maybe
what
they're
they
having too many beers while they're building
Not their specialty. Like you said, it's the beans for breakfast.
I'm telling you, that's the thing that throws me off. You have beans in your breakfast as a country, bro. Go fuck yourself. You're no, fuck that. You got something's wrong with you.
Yeah, that shit caught me off guard, bro. When we're like first time we were having breakfast over there, I was like, hold on, did they bring me the wrong thing?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, great, bro, take this back.
It's like 9 a.m., bro. I'm like,
I thought this said
beans, right?
I thought this said toast. This is a slice of bread.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because it's literally to joke about it and stuff like that. You literally look at it. It's universal through all the British brands: depreciation and reliability.
Yeah.
Literally, Land Rover,
yeah.
both Jaguar, McLaren, Aston Martin, all of them. I'm probably missing a couple as well, but like literally
Rolls-Royce,
Jaguar.
Bentley, Jaguar, all those things. They're all depreciation and reliability are the two
They're not known
things
for being
that is the
reliable.
biggest worry with those two fucking brands.
Yeah.
Then you go over some German craps like this and things get a little bit different and stuff like that. My biggest thing is to understand what you like so much about this car after having the 720, because that's my biggest thing. The 720 ruined a lot for me, which in my opinion, I wasn't expecting, but you drive that car and people don't realize you drive other cars. For that car at the price point it is, what it does, it's really hard to pick something better than it.
Everything is too slow. Like everything you drive after that is like, it's just too slow.
So how are you content with this is what I don't understand.
I think it's one of those things you have to, that's why I said, hey, make sure you drive this thing before you leave today, because I can't, pinpoint what it is. Once you drive it, the handling, obviously, it's, when they say it's on rails, no matter where you want to go, it goes. Everything just feels so well put together. There's no rattling, squeaking, and I mean,
There's no vibrating noise you get.
This is the most satisfying click of the PDK.
The PDK, the sound. I mean, when I had the exhaust on the 720, I never listened to music. I'm just one of those guys, and like a little kid, always just every time I go through an underpass or a tunnel.
Oh yeah, of course.
So sound is and it feels like a cup car. I went passenger in a cup car, and I guess that's as close to a race car that you can get, an actual race car, So it's something that I don't know how up until this point, because all these companies benchmark each other. The Z06, they benchmark the 458 and the GT2 RS partly. And then apparently for the 296, I don't know if you guys know this, for the 296, they benchmarked the Z06. So
I did not.
I didn't know that either.
I just found out. And so all these companies are, taking things from each other. And so until this day, after all these years, no one's been able to replicate what Porsche does. And it's like fucking magic. I don't know.
Well,
no one else has done a rear engine car.
That's what I'm saying.
No one's doing
exactly
a flat
does Porsche
six. They've got pieces to the puzzle that no one else is using. So that might be part of it.
Yeah.
What does Porsche do when you say that? No one's been able to replicate what they do.
Yes.
What the fuck do they do?
So if you're a person, I guess, if you're going to get the car on the track, right? So, I mean, I would never buy a Turbo S. Really? I guess let's start there, because as I consider that the best daily ever, if you're a car guy, in a sense where it's faster than most supercars.
Right.
But it's still as comfortable as you need it to be.
Right.
So if you're a car guy that's going to be on the track, that's going to be in the canyons, and you enjoy that experience, this is, I've been in situations where in a canyon, I'm just not letting off the gas at all. And it's going. And, there's the reliability aspect of it too, depreciation. If we get into the financial side of it, it's like I bought a car $35,000 over MSRP, and I have at least 20 to 30,000 equity in it. If I wanted to sell this thing, I would make 30 grand in the car, just because it has that thing where,
it's got a cult following,
I guess. And everyone that's had everything appreciates these too. So the real big ballers, I guess you can say, sometimes those are the guys that set the market too, so.
That's very true. They control that shit.
You got to drive it.
I'm telling you, it's my biggest fear. I'm telling you, I'm going to lose sleep about this. You have no idea.
Yeah. The perfect balance is one of each. I'd say to me is if I can have, 2 cars, maybe this or 3 RS and a 765. to me, that would be, because it's two different. You can't argue.
Yeah, that would be a
A
crazy
GT3
lineup.
RS versus a 765, obviously. But just gotta work hard and have one of each.
That's the goal.
That is the key. That's the key. You can track both of those.
Because we talk about this, and we all with the joke. The ongoing joke is that we're all eventually just going to end up in a Turbo S because it does do everything. Like there is no car.
I wouldn't be in a Turbo S.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't think that's. If you're looking at the Porsche lineup and the sort of things I enjoy, I don't think Turbo S is where I would go.
Yeah,
Turbo S is definitely where you would go.
Where would you go?
I would for sure be on the GT3 side of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Solely what? Because of the way that it just revs, it's RPM higher, or what? Just the way it's
And the more raw experience and the rougher ride, I'm all for that. The canyon thing, that's me.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not a big canyon driver.
Like I don't really want to feel comfortable in my car.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you want to feel comfortable, you take the family car, It just
Right.
Yeah, get an M5.
I'm the same way.
Get your S550.
Yeah. Call in or a G63. Like
I'm a G63 fan.
I take the G63. I want to feel something when I drive. Exactly. Maybe when I'm like 60, retired in Florida or something one day,
Boca Raton.
I'll have like a Dawn or something,
Yeah.
The Starlight headliner though, just it hits different, no?
It does feel different.
When you're driving at night and you look up and you see those starlights, it's just like, this is a good place to be.
It's fucking a really good place to be.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a highway hero. They like to fucking call us. Like, that's more so
100%.
my style of driving. He's more of a canyon addict. That's why I can see him going GT3. But I'm a Turbo S. If I had to, if someone had to tie me down and I had to pick a fucking Porsche and I had to live by it, I would pick a Turbo S.
That's why you hang out with the LC guys.
Yeah. He just wants to get on the highway.
He wants bright colors flying out.
He wants to get on the highway and go.
That's all I want to do. That's it. And look cool while doing it.
Yeah.
So the Turbo S will give me that with reliability, with comfort, and that's the whole thing. But again, for me, and I'll tell you what.
2RS would actually be my...
I have not driven that. I would like to drive that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what and again, who knows? Have they even talked about the development of the new GT2 RS?
Yes.
They have?
Have you seen the leaks?
I haven't seen the leaks.
So there's a mule car. They're testing it in a GT3 RS body. And initially it sounded like brake squeaking, the turbo sound, but now multiple accounts have posted it. And bro, it's from the rumors are it's going to be at least 800 horsepower, maybe close to 900 horsepower, which kind of makes sense. If you think about it, it's their flagship in a way. Forget the hypercars, right? It's their flagship. And so SF90s at 1,000 horsepower, even though you got to, make sure circumstances are all perfect. Or
Vuelto, same thing.
1,000 horsepower. So now if you're going to continue having this Nürburgring battle and all this stuff, so like,
and they got to come underwhelming, so 800 would probably be perfect for the Porsche.
Yeah.
Bro, that car is going to be...
800 for Porsche,
that's fucking 1,200 for everybody else.
That car is going to rip. That car is going to rip. It's going to be crazy.
That's what we don't know is if it's going to be after the .2 or if they're going to wait until the .2 GT3s and the 3RSs come out, then they'll do the 2RS, or if it's going to be, within... Because the way things are looking now, they'll skip a year every time. It's always like when there's a refresh, so 992.2, and then they'll skip a year, then the GT3s will come out, then the GT3 RS. So essentially you're 3 years away from 2017 is when the 992.2 GT3 RS would come out. And if then the 2RS is going to follow that, I don't know.
I think everyone's breaking their normal mold to keep up with the demand of things. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a .1 2RS and a .2 2RS, because like the demand is just there and everyone's like pushing up their things. Even just like, with the Aventador, you have the SV and then the SVJ. It's like they're always trying to pump out another thing, another level.
And then came back and did the S and then went to the Ultimate. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's 350, Mercy SVs. Well, not even. They didn't even make them all, I don't think. And then you've got 500 SVs and then 2,000 SVJs or something like that.
Yeah. When you look outside, the amount of supercars you see now, it's, what it was before. If we got to see, I remember we used to walk to this, they used to call it the Lamborghini shop. It was on Oxnard where I lived. We would get together with all the kids and walk and try to peep through the gate just to see a Diablo,
Right.
it wasn't a common thing. Now it's like, hey, there's like Lamborghinis everywhere. It's crazy. So
it's supercars have become.
I was just kind of thinking about this the other day, actually. How just like growing up, it was like seeing a supercar on the road was such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the second Lamborghini I've seen in a year, you know? And now it's just, there's a certain level of like, being desensitized. If I saw a Gallardo when I was 12, what a day. I had myself a day.
Yeah.
Today, I mean, let's just drive down Ventura and we will see a Huracan.
Dude, Audi R8, that was like ultimate dream. I had a friend just arrived from Armenia, and Sunset GT was happening at Westlake, and they said, you know how it is, like they're gonna park the hypercars or like the nicest stuff in the front, and we pull in, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like he's like everywhere you look, it's a hypercar.
He didn't know how to process everything that was happening.
So at some point we're walking around, and there's an R8 parked all the way in the back corner because it's an R8 at Sunset GT, and he's like, this is hilarious. Like this is my dream car. Like this is a big deal. This car is a very big, and they just like shoved it all the way in the back because
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like to touch more on the concept you were saying about like it being like when we were younger, like let's say just 10 years ago, that it was such a rare thing compared to now. Overall, supercars have become a lot more just like I guess not by an arm's reach, but just they're used for so many different things compared to what before in the past. It was you got a supercar because you can afford it, you barely drove it, and that was it. Yeah. Now people are buying them as marketing schemes. People are buying them just because they want to show off. They're renting them. Now that access, they're renting them. That's the big thing now. That whole model didn't exist 7-8 years ago.
Well, they're somewhat reliable and they're comfortable.
They're building them a lot better quality too, because again, time goes on. But I think the biggest thing is, and again, this is maybe more so like the belief system that I have. It's like all of us, the one thing we have in common, which is literally the beauty of what we're doing right now, is we like cars, mainly specifically supercars, because that's where we're at. I feel like whenever, and this is more of like a manifestation intent thing, when you put your mind to something and that's kind of what you want to be around, you naturally surround yourself with it. So then all of a sudden it becomes like an abundance in your life. And it's crazy because we and I were talking about this. We see an Aventador, we're like, Aventador's sick. Yeah. But before it was like, Aventador, I would die, drop everything I'm doing just to go look at it. Now we're like, Aventador's sick. I'll see another one pretty damn soon. And it almost desensitizes yourself to the damn thing. Right. You know what I mean?
We walked into Haggerty and the Van Nuys one with Steve, and there was a Pagani, the Huayra, right? Opened up all, and he was like, he's like, that color's ugly, I don't like that spec, and I'm like, man, like we're talking about a fucking Pagani, like just like, oh yeah,
what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't like that spec, this is how we talk about, like
it gets to that point.
It's crazy.
This is something you would have on your poster, maybe. Yeah.
There's still certain things though. Like when I saw a 2RS on the highway on Saturday, and I was like, oh, like seeing 2RS just on the road casually, not at a Cars and Coffee or something like that, kind of cool. Or a couple weeks ago, I saw a Python Green 918 driving down Ventura, and you probably know the guy, I'm sure.
But I think it's Viper Green.
Oh, Viper Green.
Yeah.
Viper Green. There's two different
SUP,
greens.
the plates say like SUP something. Yeah, it's Steve Supowitz. Yeah. It's a one of one actually. It's a
yeah.
Fuck me.
So I saw that and I just like I was eating and just like stood up and my wife was like, "What is it?" And I was like, "It's 918." Just rolling down the road. Not every day.
Yeah.
So it's like it takes a 918 now compared to a Gallardo,
So that, just to kind of shift the conversation a little bit, that guy is a perfect example of like, because we look at cars like these like depreciating assets. People are like, "Oh, you're stupid. Like, don't blow your money on cars because you're gonna." So he has a Carrera GT, which he drives the shit out of. It's got a lot of miles on it, and he bought that car at invoice. This is like back in the day where they couldn't give these cars away, right? He's like, I remember getting the phone call and. They told him at invoice, and he showed up to the dealership and he saw the paper and it said 1,000 over invoice, and he said, "No, I'm not doing a deal." And they're like, "Oh, what's $1,000 to a guy like you?" And he was like, "Look, for $1,000, I can take all my friends out and show them a great time. It's not just about me." And so, long story short, he bought this car at invoice, which is somewhere in the $400,000 range, and he's been driving the shit out of that car. and it's worth well over $1 million, even with all the miles on there. So not only did he get access to other rare Porsches, because imagine buying a Carrera GT from a dealership, right? Anytime something cool drops, you're the first phone call, which was the 918. He bought the 918, and then you get the 918. Again, there was a time where they were begging people to buy these 918s, and that's how they created the VIP program. I don't know if you guys know about the Porsche VIP program.
I don't know.
So,
You don't know them?
So this is crazy. So if you're a 918 VIP original buyer, you get any Porsche at MSRP, okay? Always. And so it's a 10-year program, which I think it's coming to an end now from what I remember. But all these GT cars, like a GT3 RS came out now, right? It's 150,000 over MSRP. You get one at MSRP. Not only that, I got a call from a 918 guy, for a GT3 RS. And so, he talked to someone that didn't know what the hell they were doing, because he called someone. They're like, we don't have any allocations right now. And I talked to someone else. They're like, hold on, this guy's an original 918 owner. They're going to make an allocation out of thin air just for him, an extra allocation, so he can get the car and he gets to spec it. You want to paint to sample GT3 RS at MSRP. And so he got the 918, I don't know, original price in the 800,000s or whatever it was. It's worth like 1.8 now, right? Not only that, he got all these other Porsches at MSRP, whether you sell them or you don't sell them, right? So yeah, man, cars aren't always these depreciating assets that people make them out to be.
Not at all.
No,
Are
you
trying
get
to
the
make
right
a sales
thing.
pitch for me to fucking get a Porsche? Or what are you? What are we
So
doing
it's
here
not
right
just about Porsche though. I mean, we were talking about, SVJ Roadster, I know someone who bought one at 680 and now it's worth 880, same thing with Lambos. And that's not, Lamborghini wasn't known for that. They would depreciate a lot too. So the right car at the right time, 458 right now. I think that's a great buy right now. You can get one. I just did one
really good buy right
certified for 170.
It's all good. You're good. You're
It's a
good.
really good buy right now.
I did a certified car at 175. And so I think the only reason why these cars are so cheap is because they made too many. I think they made like 15, 16,000 458s or something.
That's a lot of cars.
It is. Back in those days too, they
Yeah,
put them
for
fucking
real.
things out.
That's just a testament to how good of a car it was.
That hurts. It hits
sold that many.
I just got rid of mine, and I'm in the mindset that if I could keep it for another 5-10 years, I know that shit's just gonna go. Is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of capital deployed in it, and I'd rather use that for other ventures. So I'm like,
Yeah, and
let's
it's
let
not-
this thing go.
It's not. It's
especially
something
with that.
that's long. I don't know how long it'll take. I mean, when
Exactly.
you,
It's not a speciale. Like
Exactly.
that's different.
When you-
Don't sell a speciale if you have a speciale. Bad idea.
you guys saw that yellow one that burned down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that got fucking just all torched up in the back. That thing was
No heat shields around their titanium exhaust, probably.
So no comment. So I was behind two cars. I was there that day when it happened. I was actually behind him. He's a good friend, and that was some people's initial reaction. But apparently 458s had fuel line issues. There was a recall back in the day, and a lot of them did not get fixed. And so
Yeah, a lot caught fire early on. The 458s.
yeah,
But one of the glues was combustible too.
yeah,
There was a recall on like one of the glues that they used. I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Am I
It's-
wrong?
I didn't fucking know that.
I think so.
the fuck
Maybe
did you
maybe
know
it's a different car, bro. I'm always paying attention to that stuff.
That's another car. I think eventually $1 million car, and
458s?
Speciale.
Speciale? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
I think that's
Heavily.
like the last great, Ferrari. I love the Pista. It's
No,
it's
brother,
not
I'm
very.
with you. I'm with
It's not very driver. It's an amazing looking
with you.
car, but it's just very ass happy and
Yes, trust me. I'm with you. Again, having a 458 and driving it, being able to appreciate it. We went to Miami and we got to drive the F8. And that was something that I was very, very much looking forward to. We went to that prior. We were in Dallas and we got to drive the Roma. The Roma was 100%, and I'll say this a million times, the biggest disappointment in my entire life. I have never been more disappointed, at least looking forward to doing something, getting to finally do it. and then being so damn utterly disappointed in it. So I was like, okay, it's fine. It's the Roma. It's this weird car. They're trying to make a GT Cruiser mixed with a performance car for this old, like really old retired dentist type crap. I was like, that's fine. Let that car be dog shit. Yeah. We get in the F8. I'm thinking, okay, the F8 has to be a banger. Has to be a certified banger. We get in it. I take one good rip in it, and I go, these motherfuckers did it again, man. And they shit the bed with this perfect freaking car. Have you had a chance to drive this F8?
I drove the F8, and
am I crazy, or what's your experience?
No. Honestly, I feel like you sit in it. It feels like a Ferrari, the steering wheel and all that, and then you drive it. It's just not. It just doesn't have it. You know, especially again, if for a regular person, they might get in it like, holy shit, this is like a race car. You know, but. If you've experienced other cars,
it's all relative.
Very, very lacking. I mean, honestly, 296 now again looks. I feel like, they can. I don't know if they just didn't put too much into it because they're gonna do the challenge or whatever that's gonna come after. But it's a very fast car. It's fun. It's powerful. But the F8 was very disappointing.
It was terrible. I got in it. I ripped it, right? Thinking I was like, let me hear a little bit of sound. The 488, because the big thing with the 488 was that it just, the sound is so muffled because they put the turbos on it. That was a big knock. So I was like, okay, F8, now it's their second run of this turbo setup. Let's see how they come out. I give it one good rip, and I thought I was in a Turbo S. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, there's no life, there's no soul, there's nothing.
Not even a Turbo S.
It's supposed to have like, it's a Pista, essentially it's a Pista engine in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But even the Pista, it's not a great sounding car.
It's not, which again, in my opinion, maybe it's just a certain dynamic, but Ferrari, just for me, that it's kind of like, Lambo has that sound. Lambo always has that iconic sound with their V12s and even the fucking V10 scream. Ferrari had that in the 458, and then again, they put turbos on it. They did a little bit different direction that Lambo didn't go a certain way, but they just, the Ferraris are making now, they're not what, in my opinion, what Ferrari is as a brand.
812 look, especially with the right exhaust, amazing sounding car. What is the front engine V12 is the only car that sounds good? Like, it's a Ferrari. It should, when you started, people should be like, what is that? You know, it's a Ferrari. I don't know.
I'm with you on that.
Did you guys see the press release on Huracan replacement?
We did.
About the how many 10,000 RPM?
Close to like 9,700 or close to 10,000 RPM.
The Tamarino or the Temerario? Whatever.
Temerario?
Some shit like that, right?
Temerario.
It's
I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
Yeah, we saw that.
Out of it.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, very exciting. Honestly, it's supposed to be a flat plane crank V8. Obviously, as soon as everyone heard no more V10, they're going V8, everyone was just disappointed. But flat plane crank V8 that revs almost 10,000 RPM, 800 horsepower. You're like, okay, at least, it's some of it is there, because with the STO now, that's like the STO and the Storado. I actually had a Storado on order and I ended up selling it. I have another one coming. Even that, when you drive that V10, it's glorious.
Yeah.
How do you like the STO?
That's got to be the highest revving. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's got to be the highest revving turbo engine like ever, right?
To me, putting turbos on a flat plane crank, that was like I didn't think that was going to. So with the Z06 too, I thought they were going to go back to when they said the ZR1 was going to be they were going to do twin turbo. We figured it might be the C8 engine, the regular C8 6.2. Twin turbo 6.2.
Right.
But now they're saying they're going to take that Z06 and they're going to twin turbo it. I guess where we're at, where technology and it's so advanced now, maybe they have, they figured out how to make it work.
Well, you're
because
talking about
a high revving engine with turbos. Yeah.
You're talking about a whole different manufacturer. You're talking about Chevy now. That they make shit happen. Not talking about they fucking make shit happen. What I think is going to happen, again, this is just my belief. I don't fucking know shit, right? The biggest thing when they're talking about you fucked up. You just brought up the wrong thing. But I'm going to talk about. I
saw something. I want to remember to come back to. I saw Z06 on your story that white Z06. Is that your car?
Yeah, it is mine. Okay. Yeah. Actually, just got hit literally a couple days ago, which is fantastic. But
don't tell anyone.
I know a guy at a body shop.
Don't tell anyone that.
I know a good body shop if you need him.
But that car, okay. So when everyone was coming with the Z06 and they were talking about discussing that motor and everything like that, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, how is Chevy going to do it?" Right? They came out, they killed it. It is what it is. It's a cool car. MSRP initially fucked it up. It is what it is. Now they're talking about the 01. So the big discussion was, what are they going to do? Are they going to do the 6.2 with turbos? Are they going to do the 5.5 with turbos, right? They're going to do the 5.5 with turbos is my belief.
I think
They're going to make a Zora, which will be the final version of the car. Now that one, you're going to have whatever motor they set up. Now they could do the same thing, or they might do the 6.2 with turbos and the electric motors. That's going to be an 1100 horsepower car. That's going to, first off, it's going to break the car world. I'm going to call it right now. It's going to destroy everything. Okay.
I agree.
It's going to be 1100 horsepower, something stupid.
You agree?
I agree.
Thank you.
I have an imaginary deposit on one. Like,
Joe, you're my fucking
dealer,
kind of guy.
The dealer didn't even know what this was.
Right.
They're like, "What the fuck is this?"
You're like,
Zora?"
are you
I said,
fucking
"Dude,
crazy? Yeah, they don't even know.
I said, just start a list, put my name number one.
And the day
just,
they announce it, call me and here's $1,000.
When we get off this podcast, you tell them, and I'm 2. Wherever the fuck you are, I'm 2. And that's it. Let's run it up.
Yeah, and this dealer, dude, it's like MSRP.
Well, I'm 2.
right.
So I'm fucking 2. Because that
You
car...
went number 3.
Might as well commit to it now.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
I promise you, this is everything's on fucking
Worst comes to
crazy.
worst, I'll make some money.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But hook up our crook, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. Everyone doesn't understand what I'm talking about here. And again, it's come to see. A lot of people drive the Z06 and they're like, it's a little underwhelming. It is what it is. They're just cracking the barrier. What's going to come when that ZR1 comes out? I promise you, because supposedly I think they're having the reveal of it like in midsummer. I think like next month is the reveal of it.
ZR1?
The ZR1, yeah.
I mean the little teasers that.
Oh,
we
yeah,
put
the
out,
ZR1.
but at this, I think we're right there.
I think it's.
You
gonna
were
happen
saying your
next month.
deposit's on the Zora.
Zora, yes.
I'm telling you that shit.
Yeah, go ahead and put me
ZR1's
through
going
on
to destroy a lot of supercars as well.
It's gonna
but,
break the fucking barrier. I'm
Zora, I
telling you.
remember reading back about it like 2 years ago, and I didn't. At that point, we weren't sure if it was going to happen, but so I had a C8. One thing that I hated about it, just the looks of that car. As far as a car, like, you know, I was selling a Chevy through Felix Chevrolet, and I'm just like on there a lot talking shit about the car, and my guy's like, dude, just drive the car. I'm like, dude, it's so fucking ugly. They could have done a better job, like, you know, because the C7, we had a Grand Sport C7. That was a beautiful car, you know. And he said, just drive the car. And I got in and drove in it. And I'm sitting there, like the seating position, the handling. It's got a lot of power, you know. I mean, 495 horsepower is not a lot of power, but it's quick.
Right.
You know, we timed it with the passenger next to me. It was doing sub 3 seconds, 0 to 60 for a $65,000 car. And anyway, I ended up buying the car. So they're like on the spot. And I had gotten an M8 2 weeks before that. I pull up to the office. One of the guys like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on? Like, are you having like a midlife crisis? Like, you just got the M8."
You came with your Air Monarchs and your cargo
my
shorts.
boy had heard that before I got the C8, it was M8s were like, they had all this trunk money. We were getting like $30,000 discounts. Leases were like $1,299 on a $160,000 car. So I was like, hey, if you ever want to get rid of the car, let me know. So like fast forward 2 weeks, I call him. I'm like, hey, you still want that M8? He's like, well, what, already? He's like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong with the car? I said, nothing. I got a C8. So anyway, so whoever's saying the Z06 is underwhelming, I mean, that's a huge step up from the C8.
Huge step.
Are you the person who's saying the Z06 is underwhelming?
No, by no means. No means. No, don't get me wrong. When you compare it to like the likes of a 720, it's not that it's underwhelming. It's just you understand the relative scale of what it is. It's a hell of a car. It's bitching. 720, in my opinion, does shit on a little bit.
That's not a comparison.
It's exactly. It's not fair. It's not a comparison. That's the whole thing.
They roll down the same road.
That's fucking very true. That's very fucking true. For the price, the Z06 is damn near unbeatable, in my opinion. For the price point, it is what it is.
It's an amazing car.
It's a fucking amazing
It sounds
car.
amazing.
It sounds amazing.
The inside's super nice, especially that blue interior. It makes my eyes look really good.
I'm telling you, it does make your eyes look really fucking good. It's just, I don't know. For me, I grew up a little bit of background. My old man is a big Chevy guy.
Yeah.
So I got indoctored into that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of brainwashed, as everyone is brainwashed with these damn cars.
Same, but I didn't get brainwashed somehow. My dad had 3 Corvettes, loved Corvettes, was a huge Corvette guy.
Did he live and breathe Corvette?
I want Lambos.
Did he live and breathe it? Is that the only thing he talked about from the time that you were 4 till a grown ass man?
Is your middle name Corvette?
It fucking might as well damn be. It's
Zora.
Gordon, like Jeff Gordon, which is fucking.
That's funny because my
Joe Zora
actual
Murphy.
name is Zora, which is like, that's another thing that I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get
Really?
the shit and I'm gonna put the plates like, when we moved to the States, eventually I changed my name, but Yeah.
What's the middle name? Jora?
Well, there's no, it's Zora.
Right.
And I don't know if Zora, it's like, that was
Right.
like, I was born in the Soviet Union. And the guys from like around there, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Zora. Crap. My old man's gonna watch this episode and he's gonna kill me for botching this name. It's Zora Dantov, or what the fuck is his name, man?
I don't know. He's maybe like fucking Yugoslavia or some shit. I don't
He's
know.
like some shit like that. He's gonna kill me. I already know when this episode comes.
He's had them all.
Just edit that part
exactly.
out.
He's had them all.
Yes, very much so. But
We're
now here's
sorry.
another thing too. Is one of the things I'm realizing is you and I have a lot of similarities in the cars we like and stuff like that. Because when I drove the C8, the base C8, that shit I thought was amazing. I thought they knocked it out of the park. And I was like, okay, well, let's get the Z06, let's step it up. Because I had a C8 too, and I fell in love with that fucking car. I think for what it is, again, the price point, what it is, it's crazy. Now you like the 720, you like the C8, Z06 is bitching. I'm telling you, you're scaring the fuck out of me. Because now I'm feeling like this is inevitable, and I don't want that shit.
There's no way. I already know. There's no way you're a car guy and you sit in that and you don't love it.
We're gonna fucking find out.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens.
We're gonna fucking really fucking find out.
Is there? Can we get one of these directional mics like hooked up to the iPhone? I want to see you like
Live
do a
thing?
pull so we can get the sound of you like
Let's do it. We'll do
ripping
it.
the
Yeah.
car.
We'll figure it out. We'll do it. We don't have the digits on us, do we?
You would be the one that had them.
We actually might. I ordered a whole set of mics, so we might be able to plug in. So
I don't have the
it just
digits.
never
You have the
does it
digits.
justice with the iPhone.
It don't do
It's like a completely different thing in person.
I understand. I understand. Trust me.
But yeah, I mean that, and the fact that again financially, once you have kids, you're like you want to make smart decisions, financial decisions. And you're like, okay, I can get a car and just enjoy the shit out of it for 2 years, and then sell it for the same price or more.
That's true. That is one point. It's for me, and again, I want to knock on this because I think you're a perfect person to talk about this with.
Yeah.
For me, it's these cars. I have no knock on them in terms of like build quality, the way that they drive. They're great handling cars. Their build quality is insane. They're extremely reliable.
Yeah.
In terms of realistically speaking, and not talking out of my ass and stuff like that, they're great cars.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me and what kills me about them is just when you think of a supercar, when you think of a car you're spending six figures on, you think of certain things like that. For me, whether it's reliable or not, throw that part out of the window.
Yeah.
I expect the car to give me a certain type, and this is where him and I are really big on. We hound on this part is the experience. Okay. And a lot of people talk about a driver experience of this car, right? And it handles really nicely and you take it to the track, it's bitching. But there's something to do with McLaren, Ferrari, and Lamborghini that they offer a certain type of driver experience that, in my opinion,
Emotional side of things.
exactly like a crazy ex-girlfriend type of thing. That's I equate it to this. All those cars are like having a very nice Latin girlfriend. They're going to love you extremely hard. They might throw a shoe at you. They might get crazy at you. They might piss you off. But at the end of the day, it's loved on another level. This is like the cold housewife.
I know what you're
type
missing.
thing. Huh?
I know what you're missing.
What am I
It's
missing?
the looks.
Is that what it is?
It's looks, because the crazy girlfriend part, like I think I have hearing loss, permanent hearing loss. I had to go to the doctor. They sent me to an ENT now. This car is so loud that, I mean, the 720 with the whole bangs and the flames, that probably played a part. When you have the top down and that thing is right behind you, it's louder than gunshots. And like people go to their shooting range and they wear earplugs, but versus us, we have this shit behind us at all times.
And we're no music too, so we're fucking.
This is this, I feel like it's the looks. I think that's the only thing that's lacking when you compare it to, like, you're spending $250,000 to $300,000 cars. You're expecting supercar looks, right?
That you step into the garage.
A lot of
and you
people,
see
this
it.
does not
the
scream
doors don't even go up.
supercar. Does not scream super. Yeah, but like Ferrari doors don't go up. Huracan doors don't go up. You spend $400,000 on an STO, doors don't go up, right? I don't know why. Like all Lamborghini doors should go up.
They should.
But yeah, it's like my cousin's cracking. He's like, oh, this is like a Beetle. Like this is,
Dude, they're glorified fucking Volkswagens. That's what these fucking things
just
are.
said that, and I'm
Look
like,
how
get in the
tall it
car,
is.
and we drove, and then it's like, okay, like you're almost in a race car, So I think you get everything but the looks. But surprisingly, I don't know if it's the color or whatever it is, it gets a lot of love. Like the 720, the way it was set up, it got a lot of love. I had a purple and yellow STO. I would park up front. It would get a lot of love. Laker Town. This thing, so many people stop and look, thumbs up. Like it gets a lot of love. I didn't. That's the part that I didn't expect, because to me, I think like this little piece of shit looking plastic piece. Like you're spending that much money on a car. Like it still bothers me. I reached out to a company. I'm trying to like redesign this bumper just so
give me a color match or something.
Yeah,
give me something cool.
You just paint match that. It'll look so good.
Yeah, and it's like there's a company apparently that does it. It's like $10,000 because it's a whole process. You can't just paint this piece. You have to sand it down and
or you just pay even more for the 1016 swap.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows how much that is?
Yeah. I think that's the part that's missing. Yeah.
That's why I feared the inevitableness, because I feel like as I'll get older, I feel like this is where I'm going to end up, and I'm trying so hard to fucking stay away.
I don't think you're going to end up there.
You really don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you're destined for Porsche.
Really?
Yeah, Porsche. Sorry.
What Porsche? Fuck everybody.
Again, the goal is to make sure you have one of each. I'm like, imagine if you can ultimately have like a crazy inline six, and then you have a V8 that's music, and then you have a V10 and a V12. It's like, you just
that would be pretty bitchin'.
You get to experience,
that would be really freaking bitching.
I don't know.
We'll see. I just don't get it from you, the Porsche.
I don't get it from me either. Trust me. I don't want this.
What do you think? What's your opinion on Porsches?
I'm back and forth. I mean, I think they're great cars. I like how they look. I think they're great looking cars. I think they're probably, depending on the one, I think they're probably a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah.
I just think for me at every price point, I can pick a car I'd rather have because like they scale up so fast. But even starting at a base Carrera at 120 grand, like we drove a Carrera and a 992, and you're like, people are spending over stickers, spending 150 on this. Like that blew me away. Like that's what like really sent me. It just blows me away that someone would spend $150,000 on that car. It's not nearly enough
horsepower.
Yeah, it's not nearly enough.
120 grand for 370.
It's not nearly enough fun for that price tag.
There's no way.
But then obviously, you get up to like 250 for a GT, and then it's 450 for an RS.
Yeah.
And even like up to 300 or 250 for the Turbo S. Like all those price points, I'm taking the 720, I'm taking the Huracan, I'm taking a 570 at 150. Yeah. Like
I always say it's, because people are comparing like, oh, for 450 I can get this instead of that. I'm like, he already has that. The guy that's buying that, he already has that. Or like, oh, I would never spend. You'll hear people, I would never spend this much money on a car. That's a mortgage. I'd buy real estate properties, or I'm like, he already has a bunch of real estate. Yeah. So there's always levels to it. Honestly,
levels to everything.
People will pay. Oh, like it's S63 came out just now. I would never pay. It's like leases are stupid. It's standard rate. There's no lease special. The car just came out. I would never spend $4,000 a month for it. Number one, the guy that's buying a car, it's probably not even leasing it, just straight cash, or he'll lease it to avoid the taxes. But that's
and he's got an SVJ, a Pista.
By the time we had this conversation, he made that back. A few S63s. So
we got. He put 100 on the Mavs last night and got the whole thing back.
You literally took the words out of my fucking mouth before I could say it. One of our previous guests his name is on Instagram. His name is Sith Lord Chamba. He's the epitome of it.
I know.
He literally he just got an S63 and he took delivery of a new Phantom or something like that too. But he's the epitome of that person. We talked to him about it, and he's like, "No, man, I'll just fucking do this, get a loan, I'll make it back like this quick, and I'll make it." He's the epitome of that. And then you realize a lot of people give opinions on the smart way to do things, and obviously, if you're at a point and you're into that kind of stuff, there's always smart ways to make decisions when it comes to cars because of the way that they are. But you get to a point, and this is the part that the average person can't fathom, is you get to a point of financial where you don't give a fuck. And then you do whatever you want, and then you can talk all this shit in the world, own everything, drive whatever you want, and you don't care if you lose $100 grand off the lot.
Or you're PJ and you've got $15 million of cars in your big custom garage, and you're like, some idiot lost 200 grand on this Phantom. I picked it up 200 under with 4,000 miles on it.
Yeah, literally. It just, again,
you could probably afford that depreciation.
He easily fucking could afford depreciation. But he built his brand off of that exact concept. Him being able to say that is his brand being able to sell himself to be like, buy my course so we can do this and that. And I like PJ. I think fucking everything he says is great. Yeah. But again, there's a certain niche. He's the definition of someone that can eat the depreciation on something, but he sells a product to the type of person that is nowhere near the position to be able to do that exact thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's also like a game to him. Like the fact that he's like, I can drive this car and I
gets off
didn't
of it.
lose 300 grand
Yeah.
and someone else did.
He
Like
gets off at it 100%.
He's like, what I can do with that 300 grand? He's like, I got this Richard Mille is what someone else lost on that Phantom. And I get to drive the same car and it's still brand new.
And it's a beautiful thing, man, when you learn how to play that game, especially with watches too. I'm not, but people do that with watches as well, cars and watches. And imagine, something that's just making you money and you get to enjoy it. And, and you get both sides, man. I've seen people who absolutely have no business buying certain cars. You live in Glendale. I don't want to, but like you'll see, like I get a credit app, I get to see everyone's financials, and you like someone lives in an apartment and like, hey, like what's your job title, or who's your employer, and like KMD Consulting, and him and the wife are on the application. Like I'm like, what's your job title? Manager. What's your wife? General manager. And like, and then you look up the business address. It's some apartment, complex. And then, you got a guy who's made so much money off Bitcoin, where it's like, that's, it's very, very interesting seeing both sides of it's especially in LA. You have people who are.
It's crazy because people still think that we're full of shit. We talk about some of this dynamics. Like when you say living in Glendale, like one of the big things that happened for us, like initially was I talk about like people splitting payments on cars and stuff like that. People still think that we're full of shit about that concept. And that we've talked to so many people that are like, no, that's it's a real thing.
4 people splitting.
Thank you. Think about that shit.
Say a little louder.
Yeah, say it loud for people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, all kinds of. If we really go down a rabbit hole, we heard about a story who these guys were both filing bankruptcy, and they both got the same car. One is in Vegas, and one guy's here, and so eventually they're going to come to repossess that car because they're going to stop making payments on it. And so what they did is they switch cars, right? So if like the repo company shows up to take this car, they're looking at the VIN number. This isn't the car. They're not, by law, they're not allowed to take that car.
Right, because it's not technically not that car.
Yeah. So, and this isn't just like, I don't want to stereotype. This isn't just Glendale people. And I've seen, all kinds of people do this type of shit.
We can stereotype it though.
Yeah. There's a Vegas person in the mix.
Yeah. So like, that's crazy on another level. Like,
what a story.
And then they drove this car for over 2 years, like, because it's like
they got away with it.
It can't get repoed. They're showing up to the address to repo the car, but that's not the VIN number. And so they're when you're a repo company, you have to make sure if you're repoing the car, you're repoing the right car,
or else you're fucked. You get in a lot of trouble. You do that shit. Am I wrong?
Unless what?
If they repo something like that, an incorrect repossession like that, they can get a lot of fucking liability.
Oh yeah. So
it's fucking crazy. Man.
It's there's all kinds of shit, man. Some of the stuff that you hear from the rental companies.
We had some crazy stories from the rental companies.
There's anyone out there in Vegas that wants to, go in on 2 Avantitis and swap and stop paying for them?
SVs, let's talk.
Just DM me.
All you gotta do is both of you guys gotta file for bankruptcy though, to make sure, because you're not gonna make payments on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I can sacrifice 7 years of credit for drive around and Avantiti for 2 years.
For an SV, I'll sacrifice 7 years of credit. What kills me is though, it's like as simple as like if they put as much effort into maybe doing something or starting something as the ways that they figure out how to do this, there would be no reason to try to fucking finagle and bullshit. If they just dedicated the same amount of time and effort to try to think of all these creative ways, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I agree. I've known some people who are like extremely good at being criminals, and they're some of the smartest people you'll ever meet. And you're like, okay, if you put all this energy and effort into doing something legal, you still would have killed it, but they just chose to do the other thing.
It's a mindset thing at that point. I don't know.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about what you do here? What do you enjoy the most about it?
Man, this is gonna sound very cheesy, but like helping people get into their, now that we're doing a lot of exotic stuff, their ultimate dream car, man. Just seeing people's happiness, their reactions, seeing some of the progression. So like some of my clients, now that I've been in the business for a really long time, I've seen them where they came from and where they're at now. It's very
M4 to a GT3.
Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly, it gives me goosebumps sometimes because it's like, it's very motivating. Very inspiring. You know, where I come from absolutely nothing. You know, we immigrated here. We went through some tough times to the point where we had nowhere to live. But that's why I say this is the greatest country in the world, because you can work hard. And, you know, I think for a lot of people, the misconception is like a lot of wealthy people just automatically, they were born that way. They come from money. But I've met a lot of people through my line of work that are self-made, literally built empires from nothing. And just being able to, you know, it's an honor and a privilege, like interacting with these people, hanging out. I've made a lot of friends through here. You know, I have like a very weird background. I did 5 years of architecture school, and then I kind of abandoned that, started the company last semester while I was doing my thesis. And so now everything's coming back full circle, because I've made all these friends who are into like real estate development, investments, and things like that. And it's really, honestly, it's very true. The people that you're surrounded by, that's, you know, that's your potential, basically. That's your ceiling and your floor, because, you know, I've made friends who want nothing from me through cars, through supercars, through my line of work. All they want to do is just support me. All they do is support people. They want to push people. They love up and coming people. And so, that's for sure my favorite part of it. It's just like I've made lifelong friends, you know, through this business. And, you know, as you become a parent, now you like, you know, hard work pays off. Hard work really does pay off, man. Okay. Hard work, being a solid human being really pays off, man. You don't have to be a scumbag to, when I was like, when you grow up poor, when you're in that poor mentality, you're surrounded by poor people. Like people are talking about, you know, how all rich people are stingy, this and that. Absolutely not true. You know, some of these people are like some of the most giving people that I've ever met. And, you know, that, I don't know if that sums it up. You know, that's that definitely favorite part of, you know, being in this business.
You almost see a trend with that type of person. Like
for sure.
Those type of clients, those type of people who reach that status, you can see at least 2 or 3 similar traits between all of them.
Mm-hmm. It's such a special moment getting a new car.
Yeah, and then it's just like, I just met this person like a few months ago, and they're like, hey, just there to support you for no reason. And like initially when I started experiencing this, it's like kind of confusing. Hey, like, what did I do to deserve this? You know, just that's how they are, though. That's what you attract when you're a good human being. That's what you know. So yeah, and then the other part is like you get to meet people from all lines of work. Like, you know, you get the doctors, the lawyers, the entrepreneurs, you know, and you get to learn a lot. You know, it's a privilege,
right?
For sure.
It's the connections you make from supercars.
Yes.
Supercar connection.
Supercar connection.
Yes. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers. Should we rip the questions at this point?
Yeah, you want to?
Let's do it.
All right, Joe. You didn't tell him the questions? So?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? So every episode, every guest gets the same 3 questions. Mm-hmm. I didn't prep you for this because I'd love to see your raw answers.
Okay.
I'm going to judge the shit out of you based on these answers, but everyone gets the same questions. Mm-hmm. You want to start it off?
I usually do, huh?
Let's do it.
What's the most overrated car today? It's the best question.
AMG GT Black Series.
Ooh, what a fucking answer. I agree with you.
You know who else agrees with you? PJ.
PJ does, yeah.
PJ hates that car. Yeah.
Hell yeah, 100%.
I swear to God, I didn't see this part of the episode. Only thing I saw is on Instagram. But yeah, I got to drive that car. I got to sell it and then sell it again. And man, very, very disappointing, honestly. Yeah, sure, beat the Nürburgring record or whatever, but sounds like shit when you're driving it. You know, it doesn't make you feel any emotion. You know, we had one of the biggest AMG fans come and review the car. When he found out I have a Black Series parked in here, he was like, "Oh, please!" He was begging me to come and review the car. And I told him, I said, hey, when you come review the car, I have an M5 CS, and I want you to drive that car, and you're going to enjoy driving the M5 CS. He said, bro, you're fucking out of your mind. He said, there's no way. I said, okay. So he came, did the whole review, drove the car. We were using the M5 CS as the camera car. We had the GoPros and all that. And he drove it, came back around, took the M5 CS. I said, make sure you get on it. And came back around. He said, going back to the emotion part of driving cars, he said, man, I can't believe I'm saying this. The M5 CS made me feel more emotion than the Black Series, and it's, I had a very good friend who bought one, lost a lot of money in it, very, very unfortunate. But when the hype was there at its peak, no one had driven a car, it's a Black Series, right? Historically, so, but, once you get in the car and then you get to experience it, maybe if you have everything else there is to have, okay, let me get that. But, this guy's driving around the city, no front lift, crazy driver,
It's a showroom car.
The front end
no
is like
sound,
8
nothing.
feet from your face.
Yeah.
10 feet away from you, front of the car.
It's a fucking monster, don't get me wrong. But when we're talking about, again, if we're going to compare, like, what could you get at that price point? Shit, what do you call this? Shit bucket?
Shit box. Yeah.
Shit box?
Yeah, shit box.
Shit box. I'll take the shit box over that for sure.
Yeah, PJ had his just up on a lift over the STO, and it was like, yeah,
Yeah, we don't drive
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
No.
just sits there.
Yeah, that's the picture of the. I thought so. I told Steve to move that the Black Series poster and the 765 poster here, so it'll be to make sure we talk about it. And
It's perfect. No, it's fucking perfect.
yeah,
They look. I still think they look pretty good.
they look amazing. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
They look
I'm
like
sure-
what I think the fucking car should have just looked like.
Yeah, and
Like they should have just came out and been like.
I'm sure on a track, it's a great car.
I just don't. The GTR does not sound bad. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me how the AMGs are not bad sounding cars, right?
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what they did.
Who knows? Mercedes shit the bed a lot of times.
Next question.
Yes. What is the most underrated car today? I love that fucking smirk, Joe.
The Aston Martin V8 Vantage, from 2009 to 2017.
Specifically.
Underrated.
Underrated.
I don't know if Aston Martin enters the conversation.
The Alfa Romeo 4C. What you're getting for the dollar is just ridiculous.
I could back that one. But
Are we talking about just strictly supercars?
Not really anything.
no,
I think.
I'll let you dabble.
No
in
Porsche?
anything. Huh?
No Porsche?
If you think,
Supercars
I don't know how a Porsche could be considered underrated.
Whatever you think the answer is.
It's the highest rated cars out there.
I'm gonna judge the shit out of you, and you might get made fun of a little bit, but that's natural way of life.
But no, if you think
I don't know if I could say this.
if you think a Porsche
The
is
way
underrated,
where the prices are, 765. If we're talking about underrated, where the prices are right now,
Now you're fucking talking. 400, little less depending on the car. I agree with you.
yeah, I think that's a great answer.
I'll take it a step further. Okay, to go on your answer. Okay, name a car that is a better driving experience, a better car under $1 million than the 765 LT. Exactly.
yeah.
I'm telling you. I think that answer.
Are there any, like 6 months ago, there were some Sennas out there under $1 million. I don't know, not anymore though.
No, I don't think that anymore. But it's almost impossible. Like the 765 LT it gets to a point that car there's nothing that beats under $1 million.
You know why Sennas have picked up?
Why?
Because all these course bros got SVJs, and then they all had SVJs, and the next step up, like the jump to hyper is so big from there. But the Sennas were right there under $1 million, and they all talked about getting Sennas. They're like, yeah, the SVJ's been cool, but I'm gonna get a Senna. No hate, we got some course pro friends. It is what it is. But then they jumped to the Senna, and now there's more demand for the Senna because they're all getting the Senna. And then it's like, if you got an SVJ, you're not the guy anymore. You need the Senna, and then it's like that's just the progression. It pushes the Sennas up. That's just my little.
One of each, man. That's one of each.
One of each, literally.
I had a guy call me like December. This is like right after Christmas. There's like a few days left until the new year. I need something around $1 million, tax purposes. there isn't really anything else. I don't know, around $1 million that for 100% it's going to hold, maybe even go up. I remember looking when I was doing my research, bunch of cars under $1 million. I saw $899 car, a bunch of them in the 900s. Last month I went on there, not one car under $1 million. And I don't know, maybe it's like some of these cars take time, like the Carrera GT, or they take time for people to appreciate them, because when it just came out, it's like, God damn, that thing is ugly. Like, what is that?
It was.
What is that?
When it first came out, I've grown to like them.
I've even kind of grown to like
so
them.
wild.
Yeah,
same. Yeah,
it's a combination of things too. Maybe I have a weird take on it, but like as time goes on, you have the demand shift that changes. Yeah. Normally, the recipe is if they can't fucking sell them off the lot, give it time. They'll be stupid high in demand at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
On top of that, you get a certain amount of cars that actually are driven. They get totaled. The car disappears.
Yeah.
You lose a unit on a finite car. Those little things add up, and then all of a sudden,
like the
like the word,
like that one.
Like the word
right by my house,
not too long ago.
RIP.
I was gonna ask, at that kind of price point, would you take the McLaren Senna or the Ford GT?
I want to be.
That's gonna be the JP level slogan. One of each. We got to print it on a shirt. One of each.
I go Senna. For personally, because I drive my cars. I feel like the Ford GT is almost like a collector's piece. I don't see myself tracking the shit out of that car versus the Senna, where it's like, I know someone who takes that thing up Angeles Crest and beats it up,
Must be.
Is it matte black?
Alex?
I don't know. I don't know.
There was a video, he went viral when he cut someone off. But he's like, that for him, it's just a regular move. The guy's like, he's in Europe right now. He has a KTM Bow, and I think his Senna's in Europe, and he's going from racetrack to racetrack, actually driving all his cars. Because he got a black and red Pure Sport now.
Really?
Yeah.
What a life.
Dude, for real.
He might be a
Senna,
good guy
Pure
to
Sport?
have on the show.
Yeah, 100%. Hook us up. Yeah.
He was there at the Spider Unveil.
Was he really?
At the Gotham House or whatever they call it. Gotham Estate.
Dude, I see. Now this is the whole thing. I wish we'd done this earlier, because I would have loved to connect you at the damn
it's all connected. I've 100% seen if he's got the matte black wrapped Senna, I've 100% seen it on Angeles Crest.
Yeah. It's I don't know too many people who take a black Senna up Angeles Crest. I think
so probably him.
That might be a one.
We're doing an F1 party here. We had a few cars, and it's the first one we've done. I don't know what to expect, and there's like two, 3 cars. We have a couple of cars in the back, and Supowitz, the guy with the 918, they're coming from another event. One of their guys called me, hey, you have food? Just make sure there's parking. We're going to pull up. I'm like, thank God. They came through with a LaFerrari. It was an 812 and a Ford GT, actually. So I was like, okay, even if it's just these 3 cars, we're fine.
Just a LaFerrari.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. And we're just like, we're hanging out over here. And then a whole crew pulls up, and there's like a 765. There was a black Senna. And then some of these guys come out, and I see they're like sweating. You can see in the armpits, they're sweating in their shirts. And I'm like, man, these guys are like coming from somewhere. Like they've been driving.
They've been pushing for a minute.
And we just came up from Angeles Crest.
And the engines are crackling.
You got to love that, like someone just takes their Senna to Angeles Crest.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Uses the fucking car what it was ultimately built.
I'd like to believe that would be me. I mean, if I'm buying a Senna, I can afford it, and that would be me, 100%.
Yeah.
That would be you.
That would be me. That would be me. You see, there's gravel up in the intakes and stuff. You're like, love it. This guy's using it.
Fucking the rocks come down on the bottom.
Last question.
So
you got to build a 3-car garage. So it's going to be hard to get one of each with 3 cars for your life today, and 3 cars is all you get. But there's also no budget. So, you've got some leave room. So some leeway.
No budget.
No budget.
First one, no
3
budget.
cars.
I got to go Aston Martin Valkyrie. That's
okay.
That's a very controversial car right now.
I was that came from somewhere deep inside.
A service. People are complaining. Oh, service costs $350,000. But you're buying fucking Aston Martin Valkyrie. You can afford service.
Max Verstappen or bust. But yeah, no budget. That's not really a concern.
Exactly.
I kind of like the Valhalla though.
Valhalla's a badass.
Valhalla's like a little baby brother to the Valkyrie.
Yeah. It looks better.
Again, you probably you probably
But it's probably
enjoy
not as
the
crazy, not as
Valhalla
crazy.
more than because that shit's like. Have you seen the seating position in Valkyrie? It's straight up like
Yeah,
there's just so much negative space underneath where you're literally in a race car.
Yeah,
The way you get into the car. Yeah.
it's wild.
It's bitching.
And it makes that Ford GT seem roomy.
Really?
I haven't sat in a Valkyrie, but seen videos.
Ford GT is cool until you have a passenger. Then you're like,
That's
Yeah.
literally
some
what
elbow room.
We got in it.
we were riding in
it
one.
was so small.
Like, this is fucking ridiculous.
3 cars, huh? Damn.
Yeah.
And do
Think
one
your
of these.
current lifestyle.
Current lifestyle?
Yeah. It's not young 20s Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you got 4 kids, so there's got to be something in there.
Oh shit! So I need a family car in there.
Sadly.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I gotta
Hey man,
go-
you made these choices, big guy. This is
your life.
Garage now. This is your life.
Escalade V. That's probably as good as it gets as far as a family car.
Common pick.
That's a bitchin' fucking family.
Yeah.
Third one. So current lifestyle. Like if Valkyrie goes out the window, I'm gonna go back to GT3 RS
You could still have the Valkyrie. You've got
765.
you've got the Escalade.
So which one are we gonna eliminate? Okay, I go
Make the smart choice.
So Escalade V's locked in.
Escalade V. I have 4 kids, so
Yeah.
that's locked in.
Escalade V's locked in.
I can only fit. Last time I dropped off my son and daughter, just threw them in the bag.
Yeah.
Fit in there. Escalade V is locked in. Valkyrie hypercar, and then if I have a hypercar, I just take a Porsche, man. Maybe the GT3 RS. I'm cool.
All
with
right.
it. I don't need a GT3 RS. Not the 2 RS, 3 RS. I'm cool. Yeah.
Valkyrie and 3RS. Escalade V, Valkyrie, 3RS.
He comes home with a Valkyrie, a 765, and a G3S, and wife's like, "What the fuck happened to the kids?" Like, they only gave me 3. You know?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What did you want me to do?
Have you seen that Jordan meme? It says, "Fuck them kids." On the bottom.
Like I figured they'd give me a bonus Toyota Sienna for the
Yeah,
kids.
but-
I just convinced my dad to get a minivan. So my parents have a minivan now. They could just drive the
Perfect.
kids
Exactly.
around.
They're riding
Yeah.
with them. My 3-car garage is what I got to do.
Yeah.
I'm a little
Can I
disappointed.
hear your 3-car?
Huh?
Can I hear you guys' 3-car garage?
You want to hear ours?
if you want to.
Mine's changed a little bit recently.
I'm
So
sure it has.
I guess I'll just fucking rip mine first.
Yeah.
I would do an Aventador SV. That is my ultimate like dream car when I was a child. I have to have that. That shit's like, and I'm an SV over an SVJ fan.
We also sometimes throw in a light modification, just so you know.
Yeah, you might get a little like
You might get nothing crazy, but like
Okay, SV, Gintani exhaust, then yeah. All right.
exactly. I have to
How
have.
do you know that was an option?
So I would do that. Then I would do a G63 4x4 squared. I'm a big fan of those cars. I love that shit very much so. That would be my daily. I would roll around like that. Again, no kids, no none of that. So I can have that little setup like that. And then for a 3-capper, I go in a different direction. I think a lot of people want like one hyper or something like that in their collection. I don't have a crazy desire for a hyper. I'm more so like what I like, the simplicity of it. I would probably do, to be honest with you right now, I'd probably do a fucking a 765 LT like that.
So,
But
I like that.
roof
I like
scoop
that.
option on it.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready for
Because
that.
there's
My
one
first is
there's one that you know.
Yeah.
There's one that's not going nowhere.
nowhere. That's why I said the hyper part.
And it's the Chiron Pure Sport. That's going nowhere. That's on the list.
Okay, pick.
Yeah, hey, it is what it
We
is.
judge here. It's fine. I'll make fun of him later.
I am Andrew Tating that car everywhere. That would be my daily driver. I would rip that thing everywhere.
Hey, honestly, not a bad daily.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Number 2, see, this is you're swaying me towards the 765. So I almost want to lock it in. I really kind of want to lock it in, but I'm gonna go with perf supercharged. That's the light modification there. Throw a little supercharged
That's a
perf.
great choice.
And then last pick. This is the other one.
Oh, there's more. Hold on. Was that 3 cars or?
No. I wanted it, the 765 was.
Oh, this, okay. 765.
I didn't go with the
Okay,
765. So we're at Pure Sport. We're at supercharged.
He hasn't tasted McLaren yet.
yeah.
Give him time.
I've tasted the McLaren.
Give him time. Give him time.
Supercharged perf, and then we'll go. See, this is where it's always hard because depending on the day, it's either going to be a Cullinan, or a Urus perf, which are obviously very different. And
I know which one you want.
I'm gonna stick with the Cullinan because if I'm driving fast, I'm driving one of the other cars.
Honestly, that's a great balance.
I'm surprised you
great
picked the
balance.
Cullinan. You're talking this is a Urus guy.
Yeah, but every time I sit there, every time I'm like, but I would really like the Urus. I'm like, but if I want to drive fast, I'm gonna go jump in one of the other
That's
cars.
what I was gonna say. You have the Lamborghini already.
I'd rather just
The Urus is
cruise
such a
with
cheat
that.
code car. Like it's just
It is, isn't it?
it's got that, they call it like Lexus mode and comfort mode. You're chilling. A perf maybe a little bit less so because it's got like
Stiffer.
it's a very very obvious difference between the S and the perf. But then you go into Corsa mode and you're driving a Lamborghini, practical, hit the grocery store, and that's one of the probably my top 3 right now.
Really?
The Uruses, they're great cars, honestly. I don't know about the new one though. They went
The hybrid thing?
That SE?
It's a little bit too Hyundai looking. I feel like I don't know why
What'd
they
I
made it
say?
so much
That's what I
like
told him.
softer.
That's what I told him.
I like it.
He likes it.
New one.
I think they dialed up the HRV dial a little bit. It hurts me,
I like it.
That's a good
one.
comparison.
They had a Lambo dial and an HRV, and they were like, down in the Lambo a little bit, up in the HRV. Ship that.
And it's like some cars you look at it, you're like, you didn't have to do much. All you have to do is just not fuck it up. Just
Right.
Why you have to make it less aggressive, or I don't know.
Real. It's a Lambo. Come on.
Because from the regular one to the S and the perf, that was a nice progression.
Yeah. Can we get a Urus Dorado? That'd be sick.
That would be
Hey,
fucking
Serato,
sick.
we're gonna, if I ever get invited back, next one, we're gonna do it somewhere like out in the desert, and we're just gonna have the Serato. It's 2 months out. That car is, man, maybe that should be my most underrated car. Super comfortable. It handles amazing for a car that's supposed to be a rally car. I thought it would have a lot of body roll because you figure it's higher up off the ground. I mean, we're jumping speed bumps. This thing sounds amazing. I think it sounds as good as the STO. And it's like how cool is it? Compared to the Dakar. Like,
Right,
why didn't you get a Dakar versus Serato? I'm like, you have a Lamborghini V10 rally car versus Porsche rally car. This is
Yeah, that's not a comparison. Come on.
Exactly.
This guy, you be friends with Salamandrin, huh?
yeah, he has one.
Well, he had a Storado and then got a 765, but he raved about them both. So
Yeah.
Tell you, good.
Oh, he
good
said
taste
good
in
things
cars.
about the Serato.
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
It's simply having good taste in cars. All of this.
He said they were super underrated and people were like not appreciating them because they're awesome.
yeah. So there's a girl who I sold a Technica and a Serato to, and we were kind of worried with because she had the deposit on the Serato. It was an ordered car, and now with Lamborghini, it's a little bit tricky. Whenever the order arrives and it doesn't go to the person that was attached to that order initially, dealers lose money, and there's like it's like you lose some points. So they kept calling me, are you sure this girl's going to take the especially when they found out she got the Technica, are you sure this girl's going to take the Serato? And she said ever since she got the Serato, she's actually, we're going to sell the Technica soon. It's a really cool car, man.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one to drive. Yeah.
100%.
Especially in the desert. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Where can the people find you on Instagram?
Instagram, JP Levels. I think all platforms. I'm gonna get on TikTok.
Got to get you on
I have the
TikTok.
profile, but just gotta get more active.
We're gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
100%.
Level cars for the business.
Yes.
Give them a follow. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on,
guys, man.
taking
This
time out of your
It's a
night.
pleasure.
This has been really fun, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it's been a
appreciate
blast.
You being able to talk McLaren, Porsche,
Yeah.
everything in
I
between.
feel like we need more episodes eventually because there's
We can circle back for a part 2.
we need part 2 after you drive the Porsche.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will do. Yep. One of them all. One of everything.
Yeah.
And that's it.
We're out.